Stephanie Milky here, aka KetoMOM, or often called mom, sis, Steffi, daughter, wife, aunt, and friend. Just like many of you, I carry a lot of titles. My favorite title is mom. I should probably say wife, which takes a lot of my time. But let's be honest, if you want to do something and do it well, you will make the time for it. Commitment is hard because we find ourselves overcommitted, but when you practice prioritizing, you will find out what is actually important and what you can let go. With the KetoMOM podcast, you will learn together how to manage our time, commit to the most important things in life, and I will equip you with the tools you need to feel qualified each step of the way. My name is Stephanie Milky, and welcome to the KetoMOM Secrets podcast. All right, everybody, welcome to the KetoMOM page. My name is Stephanie. I just did a live, and for some reason, people couldn't hear me. So before we dive into the content of low carb versus keto, net carbs versus total carbs, how to get started, I'm so overwhelmed, how to eat keto on a low carb or like a low budget, I need to know if you can actually hear me. So as you're tuning in, I need to know if you can hear me. So let me know below and I'll keep going. Otherwise, I don't know why you couldn't hear me on the last time. So I'm going to wait till I can see some comments. I'll just drink. Tell me if you can hear me. Tell me if you can hear me. I am going to wait as I'm drinking my mom fuel. Oh, I'm back. All right. I don't know what happened. Y'all are sweet. Okay, if for some reason it goes away, here's what we're going to talk about. We're just going to dive in. Oh, I love that. All right. Hey, this is why it's so great that you get to talk to me. Y'all are amazing. It could be the internet, could be something random, who knows? But I'm going to drink my mom fuel. We're going to dive into some content, all right? Usually when somebody says they can't hear me, it's one person, but when everybody says I can't hear you, we clearly have a problem. So, y'all are amazing. If you could do me a couple things. Why don't you share below, since you all are quite chatty today, why don't you tell me what you had for lunch? We had leftovers, chicken. Super simple. So tell me what you had for lunch. For those of you who did a reboot, congratulations, you went 60 hours. We did the reboot together. It was super great. If you've never done a reboot, it's like a 60-hour fast. So if you need a reboot, if you need a little kick in the pants, if you need like to reset your metabolism and you want to know more, post reboot below. All right. Secondly, for those who are asking, I just did I talked to you guys for like 10 minutes and my internet, my sound went out. I'm drinking this. Oh, it's backwards, you guys. We're going to flip this around. Hold on. We are not going to let these challenges distract us, right? This is ridiculous. All right. Tell me if you can still hear me. Can you hear me? I'm drinking mom fuel. If you've never tried it, here's the quick benefits before we dive into the topics I want to talk about, which is total carbs versus net carbs. What is keto versus low carb? How do I just get started? I'm overwhelmed. I need to eat and be healthy, but on a budget. Those are the questions I got from earlier this morning. So I'm drinking my mom fuel. I've been drinking this for 7 years, okay? There's a flavor that's on sale today. It's 25% off. Every single person will like this flavor. It's not a new one. We had it a year ago. We brought it back for a short period of time. If you've never tried ketones and you want to know more about why I drink them, I just want you to post ketones in the comments and we'll chat. If you're a current customer and you want another flavor, it's 25% off. Head over to your account, head over to your back office, hit the store, grab it, 25% off. You can always go to ketomom.com. Okay? So why I drink this, it puts me in ketosis in under an hour. So I have energy, focus, appetite control. I'll tell you more in a little bit about why I drink this, because I gave a really great analogy about flying and driving from Minnesota to Florida. I'll share that with you in a little bit. I actually want to dive into some content because I know you're here for Q&A. So we do have trials. So if you're asking for trials, Sharon, 100%, you can post ketones below, trials below, we'll chat. All right, here's the question as we're going to dive into a lot of the conversations that you guys, or questions you sent me this morning, is talking about keto, low carb, I like to say real food. Here's what I want you to know. A true ketogenic diet, and I am a teacher at heart. I have 4 daughters, I homeschool, so I'm going to use some visuals for you. Are you ready? So we have our macros, and a true ketogenic diet is 80% fat, 15% protein, 5% carbs. That's like an approximation, right? If you're doing a keto diet, here's the difference between keto and low carb, is you are tracking your food, you are making sure you're in ketosis, you're probably pricking your finger, you're doing something to make sure that your body is making ketones. So that brings up another question. The ketogenic diet, if you do it right, your body will make ketones. And my little vacuum is running. I hope you can't hear it super loud. I'm so sorry, but it's going to run for a second until it empties itself out. That's called my house cleaner, the little vacuum that runs around my house. Otherwise, I have 4 daughters and myself that does that. So here's the difference. Keto tracks all of the food, right? Keto tracks everything. A true ketogenic diet. Low carb, and you guys, my internet might not be great because we've been having issues with the internet. So if you can't hear me, hold on. Let me make sure that my internet's connected. If we have to stop it, I'm super sorry. I hope it keeps going, but I don't even know. I feel like I can't see any more comments. So you tell me really quick if you can hear me or not. If I'm freezing, I'm going to really work on my adaptability, and I don't know why it wouldn't be working. I don't know why, except for, hey, kiddos, will you all shut your internet off, your phone? All right. You guys, thank you. Something I help my children teach, and then I teach myself and really take it in, is I'm going to be adaptable. I'm going to be adaptable with every area of my life, having strong AQ. All right. If you're doing low carb, that's great. If you're doing keto, that's great. In general, a ketogenic diet follows these macros. A low carb does not. And in fact, if somebody doesn't want to do keto, I actually tell them not to do this much fat because you'll end up overeating. If you're going to do low carb, you're going to take the buns off the burgers, the croutons off the salad, you're going to grab a lettuce wrap. You're going to choose better foods, but you're not going to be overwhelmed because you're just not going to eat the junk. You're not going to drink the junk. You're going to drink water. You're going to go for walks. You're going to do the best that you can. All right? That's the point. So keto, this is keto. Most people don't sustain this long term. They stick with it for a while and they end up going low carb. I feel like low carb, being carb conscious, is more of a sustainable lifestyle. The point is to have your body either make ketones because your body prefers ketones. So when you have ketones in your system, you have a long sustained energy. It clears your brain. Ketones are brain fuel. You feel amazing. That's why I drink them. This will not stop your body from making its own ketones. You can make them and you can drink them. And I'll say this, it can take a few days, even up to a week, for your body to make its own ketones, to get out the junk if you're being strict keto. If you're low carb, you might not have your body make its own ketones, but you're still making better choices. Logically, if you just lay out in front of you the foods that you ate before, right? The pizza, the chicken nuggets, the corn dog, the Debbie snacks. I say kid food because that's what I lived off of. If you think that's how I used to eat, right? And then if you go, here's how I'm currently eating, and it looks low carb. It's no bread, pasta, rice. I'm eating more proteins and veggies. I'm eating a little bit of fat, good fat. Oftentimes people message me and I get the question of, my cholesterol is high. My doctor said I can't do keto. It's not healthy. And the biggest thing I want people to understand is a true ketogenic diet is not bacon and butter. And most people eat fat that are doing a keto diet, but they eat the not healthy fat. So I'm not a doctor. I can't give you the medical advice. I can give you a couple answers. There's lots of resources on cholesterol and keto. If you go to go to YouTube. Go to YouTube. This is actually a great resource. And type in Dr. David Diamond and cholesterol. And he talks about keto, low carb, and cholesterol. You can get the book called The Ketogenic Bible. They talk about a ton of different information on medical reasons in keto. And most people just aren't doing it right. So if you're going to do the ketogenic diet, you need to have electrolytes. You need to have water. You're not eating tons of bacon and butter and processed fatty junk, right? You're doing it right. And if that's not working, like somebody said, can I do keto but more lean? And yes, you can. Because keto really has become a broad term, right? People say, I'm doing keto. And it could be low carb, lazy, dirty, real keto, protein keto, fat keto. I'm not kidding. Like, I'm like, awesome. What does that look like to you? Well, I eat really high protein and low carb. I eat lean meats and some moderate fat and low carb. I eat really high fat and no carbs. Like, it really has become a broad term that covers a variety of different ways that people eat. In general, what I want you to think is this. I'm going to walk you through some steps. Does that make sense? So either you're strict keto or you're carb conscious. All right? Here's what I tell people. Number one, ketosis is great. It's a long sustained energy. Ketones turn your brain on and they help with so many different other incredible benefits. Again, you can drink them or you can have your body make them, or you can do both, right? If you've never tried my mom fuel, if you want to know more of why I drink it and actually see some science behind it, post ketones in the comments and then we'll chat. Number two, I say, here's what we're going to focus on. We're going to focus on your water. To not be overwhelmed and to truly make this a lifestyle, we are going to go this. Dr. David Diamond. For those who are going, what's the name? Type in Dr. David Diamond, cholesterol, and keto. Type that on YouTube, and he has some great resources for you. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to make better choices. This is how not to become overwhelmed. We're going to work on our water intake. You're going to drink about half your body weight in ounces of water. I have this with me at all times. Either has ketones, a protein, or water in it. And I want you to think about, here's what I weigh. I'm going to half that. My goal is to drink that much water every day. Okay? Simple. That's not overwhelming. I'm drinking water. If there's anything in this cup or in a can full of sugar, I'm going to work on eliminating it. Number two or three, we're going to cut the sugar. So get out the Oreos, get out the sugary stuff, get the ice cream out of your freezer. We're going to get out the sugary snacks that you do not need and the sugary drinks. Most people legitimately drink just their calories they should be having in a day in just sugary drinks from a drive-thru. Can you guess where from? When somebody tells me they can't afford ketones, I always say, why don't you tell me where you spend your money? Drive-thrus, or like what's in your freezer? What are some of the snacks you're buying? Let me look at your groceries and I'm going to help you tweak to eat better, to feel better, and ketones are great. So we'll see. We're going to eliminate the sugar. We are not going to be overwhelmed with this. What are you drinking? Cutting the obvious, the candy drawer, all of the candy coming up for the next 90 days of all of these holidays. Like, you don't need a treat every single day. If you're going to enjoy yourself, choose the holiday, choose the day that you're spending your time with your family, and have that day be your treat day. But you don't need all of the treats leading up to that holiday and after to the next and to the next, right? All right, number four, we're going to swap out the flour, and there's different options now. When we started almost 9 years ago, there was no keto bread. I don't even know if I remember seeing low-carb wraps. We had to use lettuce all the time, right? And so even different pastas, there's low-carb pastas and different options. So you're going to cut the pasta, the bread, and the rice. And you're going to choose more of proteins and veggies. Think protein and veggies, protein and veggies. If you are not being strict keto, I would even choose some leaner meats because you're not going to have all that fat if you're truly not going to track all of your food. It brings us to number five. If you want to add some fats, some good fats are in the yolk of eggs, right? Some different types of nuts, olive oil, some cheeses, some good fatty meat, like a ribeye steak, right? Or some different, you don't need to eat pounds of bacon and tons of butter on everything. That's not going to serve you, all right? So fish, I would say sardines. My kids like them. I think they're disgusting. But they do. So that's helpful as well. If you've ever heard of intermittent fasting, that's where you stop eating after dinner. And here's some things to help you not snack at night. As soon as you're done with dinner, go brush your teeth. As soon as you're done with dinner, the kitchen is closed. You don't need a snack to sit on the couch. You don't. Which, by the way, we have been watching a show that is unbelievably incredible. You all should watch it. It's called The Chosen. Hands down, incredible. We're like glued to it, and there's no popcorn. You're totally fine. So brush your teeth, or if before you brush your teeth and you need something to kick the craving, you can do a caffeine-free ketone at night. You can do a protein shake. If you eat a pickle, it will take your cravings away. Or seriously, chew on some gum, or again, go brush your teeth, use some mouthwash, get out of the kitchen, you're fine. You don't need to snack just because the TV's on. So Intermittent fasting, you stop eating after dinner and you go to about 16 hours the next day, which basically means you're skipping breakfast. You can have your ketones or your coffee or whatever you have in the morning, just don't add sugar, right? And then you eat lunch. That's what intermittent fasting is about. Number 7, I already said this, was the kitchen is closed after dinner. Go brush your teeth, get out of the kitchen, shut the light off. Just because you're watching TV does not mean you need to have popcorn or need a snack on anything. Super helpful. The brushing your teeth and chewing on a gum or a mint is super helpful. Lastly, I want to say move your body. So this is different for everybody. Some people are like, I'm in the gym all the time and I'm not reaching my goals. And then I say this. It's your food. Nicely, sometimes I say that. I say, hey, I hear it. I hear you. And I'm sure you've heard the phrase, you cannot outrun a bad diet. Unless you're running marathons like my sisters do. Like, you're not going to outwork a bad diet. You're not. So, like we go to CrossFit. Everybody's different. Can you walk? Can you do some type of movement? Can you stretch? Can you walk? Walking is even better than running on your knees if you're not an avid runner. And even then, there's a lot of runners that need knee replacements. That's a different story. But I'll tell you this. Any type of movement will help you. Whatever works for you, right? So like my girls will be like, we watched the CrossFit games this year and they're like mowing down cookies. And I said, here's the difference. And people don't understand is they watch professional athletes and they see how they eat and they think they can eat the same way, except for they're not willing to put the 8 hours in the gym like the professional athletes are. Make sense? So it does matter. So you should not be going to the gym and then coming home and going, well, I worked out so I can eat that. It's a lie. So you're going to move your body and work on your food. A bonus, sleep and stress play an important role on your fat loss. You shouldn't be overwhelmed with this. Like, what are you drinking? What are you eating? Every day you have a choice to choose what you're going to eat, right? If you're not sleeping well, do things like don't be on your phone before bed. Don't go to bed with the TV on. Get a noisemaker. Shut all the shades and blinds. Get an eye mask, listen to some like white noise. There's things you can do to help you sleep better. Stress, if you're stressed out, which we are going through a book in the mornings about stress, but little things like stop swiping, stop comparing yourself to other people, go for a walk without your phone, take a bath, read a book, things like that to help with these two, because sleep and stress actually play a part in your fat loss. Here's one of the biggest things I'm going to tell you. The biggest, hands down, I had somebody at my home yesterday. She stopped in to grab some ketones. We were talking, and I said, one of the biggest things that can help you is to not snack. Like, I get it if you had an early lunch and you're not going to have dinner till later, and you might have a handful of almonds, or you're going to have a cheese stick or a beef stick or a hard-boiled egg or a pickle. Is this making sense? Please, somebody tell me if this is making sense. But here's the biggest culprit to most people's fat gain, like gaining weight or not losing fat, is their overeating. If you are not hungry, you don't have to force feed yourself. If you are not hungry, you don't have to snack. Most people are just simply overeating. That's it. So whether you decide to do keto or low carb, the diet or lifestyle that's going to work for you is the one that you stick with long term. All right, here's a common question. My girls are going to a youth event for the weekend. They take snacks with them. My kids are not keto. They just choose better options. Here's a snack they actually like to have, right? So it's those Kind bars. Are they keto? No. If you're on a fat loss journey, these are not for you. These are for my children who are super active. But here's what I want to show you. Total carbs and net carbs. Everybody's different. Some people have to do total carbs because of the way their body processes food. If you're doing strict keto, you're most likely to be total carbs. If you're doing more low carb, making better choices, you would fall on the net carbs. And all that means is you take the total carbs, right? This says 16. And you can subtract a net carb. You subtract fiber and sugar alcohol, right? So you look at this and it's got sugar alcohols and fiber. It subtracts 7. So this would be a net carb of 9. So this bar has 9 carbs in it. So there's total carbs, and then the net carbs is you take the total and you subtract fiber and sugar alcohol, and all that means is it doesn't spike your insulin, right? So this is not a keto option. I'm just showing you a visual. My children eat them. All right, the other question, and if anybody has anything to add to this, if you're like, yeah, like here's what helps me, Here's why I intermittent fast. Here's why I do total carbs. If there's anything that you're like, here's what's helped me on my journey, I love to ask this question. If you knew then, if you've been here for a while, or if you've been on this health journey for a while, if you knew then in the very beginning what you knew today, what would be that one thing you would share in the comments? Because it helps other people who are just starting, right? If you knew then what you knew today, what would it be? So post below. How to eat keto on a budget. Oftentimes people look at all of these recipes. So I will say you can go to ketomomsecrets.com, and there's so many recipes. And yet in buying keto foods, if you dive all in and you start getting like all the coconut oils and the almond flour and the sugar replacements, and you try to get all of the baking goods and you switch your entire kitchen, it will be expensive. But if you're like, I'm not going to do that right now, you can do this on whatever budget you can do it on by simply eating a protein and a veggie and a salad, those things. So breakfast would be like eggs and sausage, which by the way, eggs have gone from like $1 to $6. I don't know if anybody's noticed that. My husband wants to have chickens. But for real, I get it. Like I have people messaging me all the time, like, I can't believe how much groceries cost. I get it, right? So don't try to make all of the fancy keto meals right now. Stick to a protein and a veggie, right? So if you go to the store, look for the protein that's on sale. Get some veggies, get some salads, add a little bit of avocado in there, or coconut oil, or olive oil, some good fats. You don't have to make, that's actually the simple answer, is you don't have to make all of the keto meals. You have to decide what you physically need and the things that you can afford. There's stores like Aldi. Does anybody shop at Aldi here in our local area? It's still, everything has gone up, but I would say that's the cheaper of the grocery stores. If you're looking for a cheaper route, they've got a lot of organic options. We still have a farmer's market for vegetables. We go to Costco, so you can buy things in bulk. You spend more money up front, but it should last longer. You can have your own garden, right? You can have your own chickens. So all of those things are ways you can save money, but don't make the excuse that you're not going to get healthy because it costs more money. Like, wouldn't you rather pay a little bit more money to make better food choices than pay more money later on when you end up with medical bills? Like, I know it sounds dramatic, but it actually is true. Or like medication or something when you're older. Like, I know I've heard people say that, and I'm like, man, that's a bit extreme, but it actually is true. It is. So if you have any tips that help you save money while eating healthy, you can post that below. Otherwise, medical questions that I got, I can give you some videos from the doctors that answer medical questions about ketones. So if you want to private message me and you're interested in ketones, you can post ketones below and I can give you some information from the doctors. You can go ahead and get the book, The Ketogenic Bible. You can research some of it online. Dr. David Diamond, again, is great. If you go to Instagram and type in Dr. Ryan Lowry, he is one of the formulators and a scientist and doctor on keto. He's incredible. And so he would give you a lot of information from a medical standpoint as well. So I hope that was helpful. Please let me know. We talked about keto, low carb, net carbs, total carbs. We talked about Aldi. Clearly, a lot of you go to Aldi. Do not be overwhelmed. A couple steps to help you, one day at a time, one meal at a time. I tell you, some of you are drinking coffee and energy drinks. I drink ketones every day. It's incredible. If you want to know more, like, this helps you not eat the Oreos. This helps you make better choices. This helps turn your brain on. This gives me the energy to not take a nap at this time of day because I feel great. So if you want to know more of why I drink them and the science behind them, post ketones below. Oh, actually, I'm going to be doing a Zoom tomorrow with one of the doctors. If you want to hop on the Zoom tomorrow and hear, her name is Dr. Andy. She's going to be answering a whole bunch of Keto 101 questions. If you want to hop on the Zoom, post Zoom in the comments and I'll get you the information of how to join that. Otherwise, send me a message. I'm here to help. If you want to, go grab this, ketomom.com, or just message me and we'll chat. I hope you guys have a great day. Any keto low carb questions I did not cover, answer or ask them below and I'll come back on tomorrow and do another live, or I'll actually just private message you and answer them in your own inbox. So have a wonderful afternoon. We have CrossFit, we have church tonight, we have so many things going on. It is a fun season. I hope you have a great day. Bye, everybody.